Shall we start? Okay. Good morning, all of you. So, welcome to second day of World Conference on Education. So, today we have four eminent professors for the discussion of the intangible aspects of education, especially focusing on the blended learning perspective and micro learning perspective. So today education is in bit dilemma because the whole people are in sort of a state of funk, which way we have to teach, which way we have to assess. So a lot of confusion we are facing. So actually we can say that the education is in a little bit intricate process in the COVID geo pandemic. So I welcome all panelists. So we have Professor Dr. JOJEN MATHEW, who is a reputed professor and university guide of Goa University. Professor SUNIL KUMAR sir, famous geologist, geographer, associate professor, GVM College of Education. Welcome, sir. We have Professor GANESH NAIK, one of the eminent expert in research. So I welcome, sir. Then we have SANJAY GOVEKAR, life skill educator and famous educator, associate professor, GVM College of Education. Welcome, sir. I also welcome the introducers, Richa Chimulkar, Gautam Naik, Swapnil, Ratisha Sapre, and all other faculty members, principal Dr. Annanina George, and all other virtual participants in this panel discussion. Thank you. So I over to the introducing students. Hello. Yeah. I invite each students for introducing the resource person.
Over to Swapnil.
Good morning, one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce this personality. Dr. JOJEN MATHEW, presently working as Associate Professor at GVM's Dadaved College of Education, has more than 25 years of teaching experience. He is a research guide in the Faculty of Education and currently guiding 6 PhD scholars at the Research Center of the college. He has presented papers in international and national seminars and has more than dozen publications to his credit. Sir recently has published a book, Status and Quality of Teacher Education. He has been a resource person for various seminars and talk at national and state level seminars. Dr. MATHEW, with his wife Jolie and children Stara and Esther, has been staying in Goa for more than 2 decades. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our resource person, Dr. MATHEW, sir.
Over to Ratisha.
Good morning to one and all. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce to you our speaker for the today's panel discussion, Sunil Kumar sir. Sunil Kumar sir is an associate professor at GVM's College, Dr. Dadavaidya College of Education, Ponda, Goa. He joined the institution in the year 1995. His educational qualification includes MSc, MA, and MEd, along with NET. He is presently pursuing his PhD. He has done his B.Ed and M.Ed from Regional Institute of Education, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and has also taught at the same institute in the year 1994. His areas of interest are teaching geography, teaching Hindi, educational psychology, guidance and counseling, special education, and teacher education. He is the resource person at Human Resource Development Center, formerly known as academic staff at Goa University, and has also conducted several refresher courses at the university. He is the resource person of Navodaya Leadership Institute, Concon. He has presented papers at national and international seminars and has his research papers published in several journals. He has recently completed his UGC final research project. Today, he will talk about the impact of coronavirus on education sector in India. So pleased to welcome you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ratisha. Over to Richa.
Good morning, everyone. Today we have among us our third eminent speaker, Sir Chandni. He is an associate professor in this college for past 23 years. Sir has pursued MA Education, MA History, MPhil, and postgraduate diploma in higher education. Sir has got a strong foundation in educational research, educational assessment, and evaluation. He is teaching research methods in this college for past 23 years. Before joining this college, at Center of Advanced Study in Education, MS University of Baroda. He has also worked as research assistant in CBSE ELT project at Central Institute of English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad. He has got more than 25 publications comprising journals, book chapters, and seminar presentation. His his area of writing covers mainly research methods, educational assessment, higher education, and teacher education. Research and writing is his favorite area. His expertise in research methods includes both quantitative research involving higher statistics and qualitative research involving narrative research, case study research, and grounded theory research. Sir has guided hundreds of students in action research so far. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Richa. Now over to Gautam.
Good morning to all the attendees. With great joy, I'm here to introduce you all our fourth eminent speaker of this session, Sir Sanjay Govekar. It's been 21 years he has been a part of GVM's Dr. Dadawat College of Education as an associate professor of company methodology. To speak about his academics, Sir has pursued MA in Konkani from Goa University, MA in Marathi from Shivaji University, MAd from Goa University, MPhil from Bharatiya University, and is currently pursuing his PhD from Goa University. His areas of specialization in teaching are education technology, the teacher in the emerging Indian society, foundations of education, methodology of teaching Konkani, classroom management, and life skills. His professional development reflects in the following manner. Received a National Achievement Award, Vikas Ratna, appointed as an academic counselor for IGNOU B.Ed and M.Ed education programs, academic counselor for National Institute of Open Schooling for DELED, a founder of an NGO named Yuva Kala Manch, a resource person for more than 200 talks, seminars, workshops to the students, teachers at primary, secondary, higher secondary, and college over various topics, a master trainer for Intel Teach to the Future program, and much more. So, I now welcome your ideas to contribute to the success of this international conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Swapnil. Sorry. Thank you, Gautam. Over to Sanjay, sir.
Thank you, Gautam, Richa, Swapnil, and Ratisha for nice introduction. So I invite Sunil sir for his speech.
Well, very good morning to everyone. Before I start my session, as I'm given responsibility to discuss on one of the areas of education, that is dimensions of education. But before I start my speech, before I start my presentation, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to organizing committee, especially to Dr. Ellen Abrio, former principal and former dean of the faculty, Sanjay sir, Dr. Reina George, principal of this college, Dr. GVM, Dr. Dada Vedya, College of Education, and all the team actually who are behind, who are instrumental and doing work from the behind, from behind. My topic, which was given to me to speak on, is dimensions of education. And under dimensions of education, I wanted to discuss that pandemic, Corona, how it has affected, how it has changed the entire face of educational scenario in our country, India. So my topic is the impact of coronavirus on education in India. Under this topic, I will be discussing certain aspects of education which has been hampered badly actually just because of this coronavirus. And we are facing a lot of problems in the field of education, not only in primary sector, not only in secondary sector, but in higher education sector too. So that area which I have covered actually, all three areas which are directly related to a teacher's job, that is teaching, extension, and research. So let me start my speech with the first one, the area which I am going to discuss one by one. But let me introduce first my topic, that is coronavirus SARS-CoV-2. It is COVID-2 because SARS was detected long back, but it was detected in 2019, caused a deadly disease, COVID-19, with a fatality rate between 2 to 3%. And at present in India, actually, it is 2.86%. And it has created havoc as it has engulfed the whole world, being declared a pandemic by the WHO, World Health Organizations. A lockdown that have been imposed in almost all countries to save the citizens from this lethal infection. The disease has not spared even the advanced European countries. How can we forget what was the condition just few days before in some of the advanced European countries like Italy, United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Spain, especially Spain and Italy, actually, they were two badly affected countries where many people actually had been died of this particular problem. And don't forget that backward African countries and the developing Asian countries, because it started from China, Wuhan, and spread it and covered almost all the countries in the world. The first and foremost job in the hands of the government was not to save their people from the infection by imposing lockdown and social distancing only. But at the same time, government was very serious to save the economy of their country. And Indian government is also no exception. The Indian economy was already passing through a recession. And experts actually, they were saying that the economy was heading towards depression even before the advent of coronavirus. And COVID-19 has dealt a severe blow on the economy. It will be difficult to come out of the situation and depression once the lockdown is over or this pandemic is over. Lockdown actually has been lifted actually from different sectors, but still our sector, education sector, is facing this problem. So against the backdrop of such a pandemic, it is obvious that the education sector will suffer in all the countries like many other sectors. The Indian education system has been badly affected by the entry of this disease and also because of social distancing measures that were taken to prevent the spread of the disease. So I'm very sure that time will come when we will be coming out from this problem. But what we are facing, because we are on the peak, cases are going cases are rising actually day by day. And every day, more than 60 to 64,000 cases are coming in our country, right? So we are really actually in panic situation. So what to do? Actually, it is a lot of discussions are going on what to do actually in education sector, that planners and governments, they are taking actually a lot of decisions to solve this issue or to compensate this issue. But how far, as far as that that problems are concerned, I feel personally, I feel that we are still away from the solution what we are facing actually in our sector, that is education sector. So let us see the first problem because of this coronavirus. What has happened actually? It has restricted that movement. It has checked that mobility of the people. And even before the lockdown, which was in force in third week, I still remember actually it was started from 23rd of March 2020. Many state governments actually in their individual capacity declared the schools and colleges closed for a certain period of time from the middle of March. And I still remember that even in Goa, PHE has taken decision to close that all the institutions from 15th of March. So the closure was extended for some more time and finally the lockdown was declared. Thus the education system has been hampered for the last 5 months, 5.5 months. This is about regular classes in the educational institution. Just before the full lockdown, international flights were banned from leaving and entering the country, thereby restricting people from going abroad to attend scheduled international seminars, workshops, and also from visiting foreign universities for taking and giving lectures. So it was a bad effect actually on our sector, educational sector, because many of our people actually they were dependent. They were not only just taking classes, but they were sharing their expertise with the people in foreign countries, and on regular basis they were visiting different countries, right? And that not only it was banned, only international flights were banned, followed by actually domestic and national flights also, and even after some time trains were also stopped. So people were totally stuck in their place. And finally what happened actually, whatever scheduled seminars, workshops and other things were there, actually they had to cancel, or all those things had to postpone for certain times. But when that time will come, when face to face all these activities will take place, we still don't know. So it was really a bad phase, and still we are having a very bad phase related to that. The next is social distancing. And when we see social distancing, the ultimate objective of education is nothing but social connectivity. But we are talking these days, very often we talk about social distancing, maintain social distancing. So are we really achieving our targets and goals? I don't think. So with the full lockdown being imposed in the country, the education sector initially came to a standstill. This is a very unprecedented and unfamiliar. And nobody still knows when the situation will be normal. It is imperative that the lifting of lockdown should obviously not take place in one go or in one shot, but gradually actually we can lift. As otherwise, the very purpose of the imposition of lockdown will be defeated with the spreading of this disease. Because we know all that some of the countries, they had lifted lockdown actually from education sector. I'd like to give example of Israel. Few days back actually they had lifted down this lockdown, and they had opened their schools, and students in schools actually they joined schools, and within a week 6,500 students, they were infected actually of this corona. So it is also true that unless the social distancing measures are removed, bringing back normalcy will be difficult. But it is a known fact that educational institutions are most dangerous place for the spread of disease due to just the most important reason, that is mass gathering, right, in the classrooms. Therefore, unless the infection is totally eradicated from the states, it is difficult to bring back the students to the schools or colleges, right? So social distancing, we are maintaining social distancing, but it is affecting our education in a big way. Now, let us see that regional factors. Regional factors means urban versus rural. Because of this lockdown or because of that pandemic, corona, that system, our sector, education sector is badly affected, and it has created a lot of distance and gap between urban areas and rural areas. Because to overcome this problem, how to conduct classes, to overcome this problem, people actually came with their ideas to introduce online classes. But are we really in position to compensate through this particular mode of teaching, online teaching? No, I feel no. It's a big no from my side. So gradually the system is getting accustomed to the situation. Distance classes using various online platforms have been started in many institutions. It is, however, difficult to say at this moment how far it has been successful, especially when one is situated in an urban area and has the advantage of teaching and very elite class. I'm lucky indeed, actually, because I'm from Goa. I'm teaching in one of the colleges in Goa, and Goa have blessed with all kinds of resources. And I'm also one of the elite, teaching in one of the elite institutions and universities of the country, that is Goa University and even Dada College of Education. I have the advantage of teaching an elite subject, also geography. Predominantly to urban students, but at the same time, students are coming from other areas also, rural areas and some urban areas. So they all, students, especially students who are from rural areas, they are not having all those facilities which urban areas students have. So they are not having connectivity. The most important problem is connectivity problem, right? So they are not getting what other students from urban areas and semi-urban areas they are getting. So it is very difficult. It is very difficult actually to impart education to each and everyone at every distance. And I am just talking about Goa. Think about other states where it is still a dream actually to get connectivity. Even students are not having basic facilities to talk with people, and they have to go a little bit far from their home to get connectivity, to interact with people at distance place. How to get education through this online, it will be really a very, very difficult task. So due to just poor internet connectivity in the hometowns, students are suffering. So online, I feel that it is not the whole holistic solution to come out from this situation. Now, the next one is economic factor, economic or financial factor. The situation is very different when one looks at rural colleges and universities. Many students in rural areas may not have access to smartphones or computers. Even if they do, the net connectivity may not be as high as in urban areas. Just now I said you. In any case, many students of the most elite institutions, the IIT, are not able to have access to online classes from their homes due to these reasons. I'm just giving you an example. Just 2 days back, I talked to one of the IITians who is in second year in Mumbai IIT, and he said that just 1 week before that classes have been started. 1 week before, because most of the IITian students, they are from rural background, and they are not having that facilities which urban students are having. Even I can give you another example of premium institution, that is Navodaya Vidyalaya. Navodaya Vidyalaya basically covers rural background students, and hostels are closed. They have gone back to their home. So they are having all these problems. And they are not coming from very elite group. right? They are not coming from very high-fi groups. So they are having basically financial problem to have their own smartphones and their own desktop or laptop. So because of all these problems, a lot of educational problems they are facing. Financial problems are affecting their education, right? So we don't know, because yesterday I was just watching news. Government of Punjab, they have distributed smartphones to their students. So such type of actions has to be taken by all the governments, but it is very difficult because we are a very large populated country. So just to provide smartphones to all the students will be very, very difficult, because it will again affect our economy, right? So that is economic factor. The next one is language factor. Here you could see clearly that we have different kinds of schools in our country: government schools, government aided schools, and private schools, public schools, right? And there are also very elite public schools and lot of village level elementary schools which are running under the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, right? So you could see differences among these schools. That Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, that schools which are running under Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, and especially schools which are situated in village, catering to the below poverty level section of society, right? So a majority of children by number attend village elementary and primary schools. Even in the urban areas, many such primary schools give classes to the poorer sections. Most slum children attend these schools. In addition to the economic region or divide and the rural-urban divide, there is a language divide as well. Vernacular medium schools largely cater to the poor, while English medium schools cater to other sections of the society. So you could see clearly that difference between children who are taking education from vernacular medium schools and children who are taking from other schools. So it is a kind of digital divide, I can say. Most poor students do not have access to smartphones, and even if they do not have connectivity, and they are poor. Content is often available in not available in their own language which they understand. This gives rise to discrimination in access to education, I feel. So today many schools in urban areas are having online classes, while the majority of rural schools do not have. And I could say that many students in rural areas, they're totally lost. They don't remember even they were part of education. They are enjoying their lives, but at the same time, they are losing a lot as compared to urban school children. So very young children, they are not able to learn through online process, as they can neither handle computers nor mobile phones. So in many households, there is no computer, and in many children are not allowed even a smartphone as well. So in both the situations, both of these problems exist regardless of class. Therefore, the digital division or divide at the school level leads to a big gap between the haves and have-nots. So we have to think online classes is really the sole solution of this problem? No, not at all. The next factor which I feel because of this coronavirus has affected to conduct exams. So conducting exam, another problem. Right? So conducting exam. Here, many examinations have been cancelled or postponed. So cancellation of intermediate semesters or class annual exams or class 9th and 11th exams will only weaken the foundation of the students, right? While it is true that online examinations are not possible, especially when the pattern is subjective, it is very difficult actually to conduct examinations through online. And at this time, given the existing infrastructure in the country, it is very difficult to conduct online subjective pattern examinations for all the students. Because what kind of infrastructure we have, especially in rural areas, we all know, we are aware about it. No doubt, UGC came with this guideline to conduct exams only for final year exams, final year students. Final year examinations will be conducted, but students who were studying in part 1 they were promoted in part 2. Part 2, they were promoted in part 3. Graduation, I'm talking about graduation students, those who are studying in BA, BSc and BCom. So they were promoted directly on the basis of their internal marks, right? Only part 3 examination, final year examination students, and even at master level also only final year students, at B.Ed level also only final year, though there is no coordination, there is no relation between first year, second year and third year, because I feel equally for all the years examinations are very, very important. But because of this pandemic and because of that limitations of online, government had to take decision to cancel some of the examinations, especially for first year and second year. But for final year examinations, they had to conduct. And what kind of examinations we are conducting, actually, I feel it's a kind of mockery, right? Because that goals which we have for conducting examinations cannot be accomplished through such type of examinations. So I'm very sorry to use certain hard words, but what I feel actually I am just sharing with you. The next point is practical and technical factors. Practical and technical factors. It has already been mentioned how the digital divide plays an important role. Therefore, in order to reach all students, classroom teaching is the best option, I feel. This is especially true for laboratory-based subjects, classroom, because it is very difficult. Here, practical part of the course is difficult to conduct through online mode. Again, I am telling you, especially I have just mentioned here 5 different areas: engineering, medical, geography, science, and architect. Right, and I would like to give example of medical and engineering courses, which is basically based on practicum. Right, so students, okay, no doubt classes are going on, online classes are going on, but what about their practical part which they are missing? So it will be very difficult for them finally later on to bridge up the gap what they have missed. Right, and some classes, some practicals can be conducted, but for conducting practicals, also digital equipments are required. Are our students have all these facilities? No. Again, I am telling you, no. All students do not have their own computer, laptops, desktop, laptop to just have some kind of inputs actually regarding that practical things about their courses or their subjects. So it is difficult, really, it is difficult to give instructions online, through online. So online classes are not capable of substituting classroom lectures. The former, regular classes, I feel is very seldom able to generate the interaction that is needed in a class, because until mentoring can be developed very well when face-to-face interaction takes place. So moreover, the teacher's body, and I feel that teacher's body language, the way he speaks, the way he moves in the class, the way actually he changes his voice, the way he changes his speech pattern, the way he's having voice modulation in the class is very important and imperative for the success of any class. The use of technology will not only lead to more discrimination, because it is already dividing students from between rural and urban, rich and poor, but also it will create some practical problems, and it will also lack the desired interaction, which again just now I told you, through online actually lacking desired interaction, because we are having a lot of webinars, we are having a lot of programs online, but honestly, I am telling you, hardly we are having time actually to interact with the resource people, which is very much possible in regular class, but through online classes, very difficult. Even we are also very much indulged in online classes, but what we were having earlier, what we have now, we could see clear-cut difference between these two. Now, the next point is physical, psychological and social factors. Actually, I have put some of the points related to these 3 big areas together. You can see this slide, and here I'm very sure that a lot of social change has taken place, A lot of psychological change had taken place among the people. A lot of physical change also has taken place in the people because of that lack of mobility, because of that lack of other things which we are missing in these days. So far, not much political change has been seen as a result of the pandemic, but social change may emerge due to the people staying at homes day after day, forced to spend time within small families and in limited space. So what is happening? The strain induced by the lockdown could have long-term effects. But how this will affect the higher education system is hard to predict right now. There is some evidence that domestic violence has increased, and there may be some effects on students. A lot of problems are there between husband and wife, between children and parents, right? Because we know that we know very well that what's the mental condition of adolescent. Adolescent period is a period of strife, strain, storm, and space, and it's a period of peer influence. They want to spend quality time with their friends, but they are not allowed to go out from the home. So what is happening? They are not channelizing their physical energy in proper way. They are not channelizing their psychological fitness in proper way. So finally, they are indulging in some kind of negativity, and at the result, what happens? They are fighting with their siblings. They are arguing with their parents, and parents are also they are fighting just because of children's changed behavior. So it has changed a lot of things in our society, in our home, and in perplex situation, we could see that breakups are also taking place between parents and hampering and badly affecting that students and their education. So this is about physical, psychological, and social factors. Now let us see the last area. As a teacher, I feel that it has affected badly to research also. So effects on research because of this coronavirus, we could see clearly that research has been affected in a very negative way. While it is true that non-lab-based research can be carried on through the students' perseverance and the contact with the mentor through telephone calls or emails, but I still feel that one-to-one correspondence with face-to-face discussion has no substitute. In many cases where secondary data are needed, the students are not allowed to visit the sources like the institution itself where he or she is studying, different offices to collect the data, libraries and other departments. They cannot move from the home to collect the desired data. Similarly, primary data collection has also stopped since visiting sources is forbidden, and hence research is severely hampered. Mentorship improves only when there is face-to-face correspondence. In the lab-based subjects, research is totally stalled. Only one lab-based research is going on, that is nothing but to find out the coronavirus medicine and vaccine. But other activities related to research-based researches are totally stalled. And doctoral research has been hindered both in primary and advanced stage. So I feel that these are the areas where a lot of problems we are facing. We are trying to compensate it through different modes of things, and one of the modes is that online teaching. But it is, again I am telling you, it is not the solution, because psychological attachment is very important, and it is very much possible when teachers and students are facing each other. Physical connectivity is there, social connectivity is there, but we are talking more because of this coronavirus about social distancing. So friends, these are some of the areas which I failed to discuss with you, to share my views related to the topic effects of coronavirus. And conclusion, I could say that online classes, again I'm telling you, online classes are no substitute for classroom teaching or classroom lectures for a variety of reasons. Just now I have discussed with you these reasons. The digital divide will only lead to discrimination, and practical classes based on laboratories cannot be held online. The interaction between teachers and students is crucial component. Again, I am telling you, in teaching and and it cannot be replicated in online classes, and hence the uh, the sooner the normalcy returns, the better, right? But at the same time, dear friends, I would like to finish my talk by just telling a lot of other areas has been open for us. It's time for us to reinvent ourselves, to re-explore ourselves, right? And just to make yourself very strong digitally and technically. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking
If you
and
have any question, you can
stimulating
put in the chat box. What's actually will discuss
coronavirus
all your queries.
education.
And
So
we
now
will try
time for question and answer. If
to
you have any
reply
doubt,
whatever
you
you
clarify.
have in your mind.
Any doubts, you can clarify now. I think, no doubts, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. So thank you, Sunil sir, for giving an insightful talk on how the COVID geo pandemic affect the education sector, and it creates the different types of generation. Like there is a kind of digital divide which created. Actually, we already have a digital divide in rural, semi-urban, and urban areas, but still there is a deep divide because of the geo pandemic. And he also spoke about the concepts of micro-learning, how it affect the marginalized societies. Thank you, sir, for your insightful lecture. It's very
Thank you.
fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I invite Professor Dr. JOJEN MATHEW. He is Associate Professor in GVM College of Education, Goa University. So I invite sir. Sir, please.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I would like to thank the organizers of this conference for inviting me for this talk. When Mr. Sanjay sir asked me about the topic that I would like to speak on, I immediately said factors affecting academic achievement of school children. I am very happy that I am part of this World Conference on Education. Now, education has been recognized throughout the world as a very powerful instrument for social, economic, and cultural development. In the history of mankind, education has provided a sure basis for the development of human society. The quality of education provided by a country can decide its level of development and hence the quality of life of its citizens and the strength of its social and political institutions. A country that has placed its full faith in its educational system and its ability to transform the traditional society into a modernized science-based society cannot afford to permit its educational system to function at a substandard level. Now, with the march of democracy and proposal for compulsory free education at different levels in most of the countries, a different view of the scope and responsibility of educators has emerged. The task is envisaged as maximizing the achievement of all children. With due recognition of individual differences in ability, it is apparent that not all children are capable of reaching the same educational standard, but all children are capable of development. Now, this view of education draws increasing attention to the causes underlying variations in achievement. So, successful study of these causes may well assist in so modifying the teaching learning procedures as well as the organizational and administrative setup of the schools as to result in an overall increase in scholastic achievement by all children. Now, the educationists and leaders all over the world are concerned about this, about the falling standard of education and the huge wastage in the field that goes on as a result of many unidentified reasons. According to Berkey, failure is one of the greatest tragedies in the lives of many students. It is difficult to single out any one cause for the mass failure. To some extent, it depends on factors like intellectual status, student ability, socio-economic status, attitude towards course of study, methods of study, medium of instruction, system of examination, motivation, and personality factors. So academic achievement is a resultant of many forces working on the child, and the research literature is replete with studies on the relationship of academic achievement with different demographic, organismic, and environmental variables which have been classified into various categories by different investigators. Identification of the dominant correlates of academic achievement has been a major theme of research in education right from the early years of the present century. Now, over the years, it was accepted that differential achievement was too complex a phenomenon to be explained by individual factors. The findings of the earlier studies identified a number of critical factors which we can classify as pupil-related, school-related, family-related, and community-related factors. Now, it's not possible for me to touch upon all these factors, but today I would like to speak on a few factors that are related to the school. Of the various agencies imparting education like family, school, religion, I believe the school is the most important, and it plays a major role in the physical, emotional, intellectual, and moral development of the child. So a school which provides a conducive environment for meeting the needs and interests of pupils contributes much to the whole development of the personality of the child. Now the question is, do schools make a difference in student achievement? The school admittedly has an extremely important role to play in the education of the youth. Now there has been a lot of researchers in this area, and the researchers on school quality in developing countries have shown that school factors are significant in explaining learner achievement. A sizable proportion of schools in developing countries in general lack the minimum physical and academic inputs. This was a study conducted by Dr. Verghese and Govinda in 1993. So there is no doubt that schools that vary in physical and academic resources provided to their students. Now, a few years ago, I conducted a study on the relationship between various school-related variables and academic achievement. And out of the many variables, pupil mix of the school has emerged as an important variable in school achievement for that study. Academic achievement of children from socio-economically disadvantaged families is adversely affected when they are admitted to schools with a peer composition of low socio-economic status pupils. Now, there are many studies to support this. Lowe in 1950, Pillai in 1963, Keenan in 1987, beginning in 1989, all proved from their studies that classroom peer composition had a very high relationship with achievement. Now, as part of my study, I observed many lessons. I observed lessons from government school teachers, and I observed lessons of private aided schools managed by private bodies. I still remember that when I observed a lesson in a government school, the percentage of result of that particular school was 10%. And I went and observed a few lessons of teachers, and I found that the teachers were giving excellent lessons. Now, 1 kilometer away from that school, that's a private school managed by a private body, and the percentage of result was 70%. And I went and observed some lessons, and some of the lessons which I observed were average or below average. So the government school, the students, they were coming from very low socio-economic background. So the pupil mix of the class of these two schools were different. Now the aided school managed by a private body had students from very high socio-economic background, and the government school students were from a very low socio-economic background. Now, I would like to share with you another story which was told to me by a retired headmaster. Now, when he was appointed as a headmaster in a school, to his surprise, he found that there are certain divisions in the school where there are only students from high socio-economic background. So what the influential parents would do, they will try to get their students also admitted to such divisions. And there were also divisions where students from low socio-economic background or low achievers were admitted. Now, my friend told me after joining, he changed this practice immediately, though some of the parents, they did not like it. But this practice, I think, as prevalent in other institutions also, where the high achievers are put in a one class, or the students who are coming from high socio-economic status are put in a one class, and the students who come from low socio-economic status or low achievers are put into different class. This is absolutely wrong practice. And I think that this study proves that a pupil mix of the class or the school is a very important factor that determines achievement of students. Now, a vital factor that emerged from the study which I conducted was that a large proportion of pupils who enrolled in secondary schools, in government schools, were drawn from very low socio-economic background, very poor socio-economic background. And this should be looked as an important factor as far as achievement of our students are concerned. So whether increasing the facilities in government schools will solve the problem? Recently, I was reading an article where the writer, he suggested that instead of building new schools and spending much money on infrastructure, the government should spend more money on individual students. They should be given financial assistance to join any of the schools of their choice. Government spend money on various school projects, but we know that some of these do not reach to the proper beneficiaries. Now, the very important thing I would like to say here, that since that the government, the Indian government has come out with a new policy on education, we should look into this aspect in a little more detail, because whether increasing the infrastructure facilities will bring out, bring up the achievement or not. Now, I would like to touch upon a few more factors and close my talk. The second factor which I would like to share with you is about the school climate, the atmosphere in the school. There are many studies to prove the relationship between academic achievement and school atmosphere. Studies conducted by William, Organ, Copland, Lindsay, Nichols, Allison, all found positive relationship between school climate variables and achievement. As we know that fertile soil, adequate sunshine, in other words, a good geographical climate is needed for a better and higher crop yield. Good industrial climate leads to high and quality production of goods. Similarly, students in schools perceived as having better school climate have been found to excel in all school-related variables. So atmosphere in the school or the class play a very crucial role in the development of a harmonious personality in children, which in turn leads to greater academic achievement. So I think that we teachers have a great role to play here. There are many students who come to school. They are not much bothered whether they should be there or not. Sometimes they are not interested to come to the school. I just remember a story. There was this is a real story told to me by another headmistress. There was a maths teacher in that school. And there was one particular child. She always started crying when the teacher enters. Now, this went on for some time. And then the headmistress found out the reason why the child is crying. So it was because that particular teacher, whenever she comes to the class, the child will start crying. Now, we teachers are responsible for creating a good classroom climate. We teachers are responsible for creating a good classroom and a school environment. So I believe that school environment play a very important role in the academic achievement of students. The more congenial the school atmosphere, better the achievement on the part of the student. So enrichment in school atmosphere will surely serve as a stimulating force for the learner. Now, I would like to speak on another important variable, that is attitude of students. Now, concern is continuously being voiced about the increasing alienation of pupils from their schools, and a search is being made for the sorts of changes to the education system which will make school more relevant and satisfying to the needs of the current generation of school children. So many studies have been conducted in the field to find out the relationship between attitude of pupils towards the school or the subject and achievement. Rao, Loon, Pricer, Matthews, Dyer, there are many studies which I have reviewed. I found that pupils' attitude towards school was significantly related to their achievement. Now, I just remember one incident which happened in my life. Once I went to a school to supervise a few lessons. It was in a faraway place. And one of the boys in the class was creating a lot of problem. And after the class was over, I just called him aside and asked him, "Why do you come to school?" And without any hesitation, he said that, "Sir, I come to school to enjoy." And then I asked him about something about his family. And he said, "His father is no more. Mother goes from house to house for work." And he didn't have any proper attitude towards his studies. So there are many students, they come to the school, they do not know why they are coming to the school. I think it's very, very important that we teachers, we have to create a proper attitude in our students. Now, the head of the institution or the stakeholders are not bothered about these variables. They are only bothered about whether the students have got good marks or not, whether you have finished the syllabus or not. The question is to the teacher that, have you finished the syllabus? Oh, you are a good teacher. So it is very, very important that we need to pay more attention to these aspects of school climate, attitude of students towards the subject, towards school also. Now, one more thing which I would like to say is about the teacher effectiveness. And there is no doubt that there are so many studies conducted by different researchers. I would like to quote Bennett, Joshi, Goyal and Agarwal, Tolo, Wellman, Brophy, Smith. And all these studies confirm from their findings that teacher effectiveness is positively correlated with school achievement. Good teaching can compensate many other deficiencies in a school. Poor teaching nullifies the effect of almost all favorable conditions for learning. Even if an educational system possesses adequate material resources and excellent administrative personnel, in the absence of efficient teachers, the program of education becomes a case of wastage of time, economic resources, and valuable human resources. So, teacher effectiveness play a very important role in the academic performance of students. And I believe that there are many teachers, they just join the profession by accident. They don't want to really join, but somehow say they join. There's no aptitude test is conducted for teachers. Now, one of my friends, he used to say, he was also an headmaster, he used to say that if a doctor commits a mistake, only one person will die. But if a teacher commits a mistake, the entire generation is gone. So we do not conduct any aptitude test for teaching. Most of the time, they are selected based on their final marks. So aptitude is very important. The potential ability is very important. Sometimes I think even we can ask the shortlisted candidates at least to give a lesson for 5 minutes. We can find out whether they have the aptitude, whether they have the potential. And we admit students just based on their graduation marks and without any aptitude. if at all they are given training for so many years, they will not be able to develop their aptitude into an ability. And I just remember a story about a teacher who found it very difficult to manage his class. So what did he do? He did a library science course, and then later on he quit teaching job and he became a librarian. There may be hundreds of such teachers. They find it difficult and they don't have the aptitude to become teachers, but just because of their degree, they are teachers. And of course, we have touched upon various factors, maybe one or two factors more we will see. School facilities are found to be substantially influencing learner achievement. I have many studies which I have reviewed, like Pillay, Jackson, Chan, Han, Bowers, and all that Mr. Govinda and Bogies, and all these studies found the importance of school facility factors in predicting student achievement. Now, the major problem confronted by school authorities is that of providing proper accommodation facilities. Year by year, the enrollment increases and the provision of accommodation and facilities do not get any corresponding improvement. Some government primary schools are upgraded to high schools. When we go and visit some schools, we find the facilities are not there because some of the elementary schools, primary schools, they are upgraded to high schools. They don't have the required infrastructure. They don't have a proper playground. So physical study facilities provided in the schools, they play a very important role in improving the teaching learning environment and consequently the academic achievement of the pupils. So a skillful teacher working in a well-designed and highly functional school building, supplied with a wide array of electronic and visual teaching aids, can achieve a level of instructional effectiveness that far exceeds what is possible when the necessary things of education are not provided. I still remember I was working in a government school in Kerala for some time, a few years ago, and I was the class teacher for the 9th standard students. I was teaching English and I was teaching social science. And one of the students in my class in the 9th standard, and he didn't know how to write English alphabets correctly. I'm not exaggerating, this is absolutely true. He was promoted till the 9th standard, and that particular year, what I did was I tried to help him to learn the alphabets. And this was a story which happened around 2 decades ago. But why did I share this? Because there are so many students in our institutions who are very low achievers, and we teachers, we often neglect them. And maybe they are coming from low socioeconomic background. And some of the teachers, they have an indifferent attitude towards them. I have heard some stories of some teachers. They would say that, okay, these students who are coming from low socioeconomic status,
school. In the West Bengal, the government shall announce that the September visit, all schools will be open for education system, but it may be not urgent. And that is the slide which exactly briefs the concept of blended learning. We are no
Sorry for the interruption. Let me conclude my talk. To conclude, the pupil's academic achievement is a complex behavior. Host of factors of diverse kinds are intimately associated with academic performance. Educationists and psychologists are in constant effort to isolate these factors. Despite great advances in knowledge about student learning and the investment of tremendous amount of money, time and effort, our secondary schools are not moved very far toward the goal of increased learning for all students. So it is very important that as committed teachers, we need to be proactive and we have to walk that extra mile to help our dear students. So friends, I am concluding my talk, and at the end of this session, we will have a time for discussion, and I am sure I consider you all who are attending this conference as resource persons. So you can share some of your experiences, and you can also ask some questions, and we can have a very profitable time at the end of this session. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. JOJEN Matthew. So now we have one question from Sir.
Yes.
One question from Priyanka Matthew, JNU. Are good teachers born or trained?
Yeah. See, I was just talking about the aptitude. Aptitude is the potential ability. Now, if you don't have the aptitude for teaching, if at all you are trained for so many years, you cannot become a good teacher. Now, think about any other profession, music or any other profession, where if you don't have the aptitude, you cannot be a good musician. If at all you are sent to a music school for 10 years or 15 years. So the same thing with teaching also. So teachers are both born and trained, I would say, because the innate ability or the aptitude is very, very essential to become an efficient teacher. Thank you.
Sir, one more question is there. Thank you, sir. One more question from Ratish Goengar. What are the different teaching practices can be followed to improvise the school atmosphere or climate in any institution?
Okay. Yeah, this is a very important question about school atmosphere. Now, as I mentioned in my talk, that the headmaster or the stakeholders are not bothered about the school atmosphere. They will only ask us about, have you finished the syllabus? But to say that we teachers and the head teachers and all those who are connected with education, we should be concerned about this aspect of creating a good atmosphere in the school. How to create a good atmosphere? I would say that teachers have a greater role to play. So the relationship between the teacher-teacher relationship, the teacher-pupil relationship, the teacher-headmaster relationship, all these things are very important. It's not possible for me to explain all the different aspects of climate, but there should be an open climate and a democratic atmosphere in the school. Then only we will be able to maximize school. Sir?
Okay, thank you, JOJEN sir, for
thank you very much.
Insightful presentation. Especially, he spoke about the various factors, intangible factors, which affect the academic achievement of students, like teacher effectiveness, then the climate, the atmosphere and family background of students, the emotional proximity, the emotional and social learning. So all these aspects are together affecting the progress of children or the students' progression. So thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking, insightful, and stimulating talk. So now I invite Ganesh Chandra Naik for lecture. He's an associate professor, GVM College of Education, Goa University, one of the very famous educationist and especially a good academic researcher. Sir, please, sir. Ganesh, sir, please.
Everyone, already we are running shortage of time. I'll not take so much of time. Okay, my topic is action research. And dear audience, I think everyone knows it. So when you all know about action research, sometime I think, why shall I waste my time here? But I'll not leave the session, I'll be here. But one professor, he came to a online session like this, and he didn't like the setup, and he wanted to leave it. So he asked this question, my dear audience, do you all know the topic, action research? And everyone say, yes. And he asked, when you all know action research, why shall I waste my time? And he left. Okay, but we are here, we'll be discussing a lot of things about it. So in this action research topic, these are my subtopics. Okay, why research for any country? Why action research by the teachers? And why are they not doing it? So we'll go one by one. Let us see the first one, why research for any country? We all know that research is a knowledge generation process. In my previous speaker also spoke the same thing. Research is a knowledge generation process. And this knowledge is related to economy of a country. We all know that the advanced economy, they are advanced in knowledge system also. So therefore, both the things are interrelated. And as far as knowledge economy is concerned, where do we stand, the Indians? So I'll try to understand different groups in knowledge economy. Okay, I'll try to impose the concept of geography here in understanding knowledge economy. Let us see the first group, the primary producers. Just like farmers, the primary producers in knowledge economy are the professors, the scientists, the research scholars who are in the business of creation, exploration, and verification of knowledge. Okay, it's very clear. Now see the second one, the secondary producers. Here also, the person who are compiling the researches in a particular area and giving structure to it. Okay, primarily they are using the knowledge created by the primary users. Sorry, primary creators, primary producers. So these are the authors of different original textbooks based on researches of others, including they may use their own knowledge also created by them. But they are the secondary producers. Fine. Let us see the third one. Okay, similar to that, we have tertiary producers. Who are these people? They are the parasitics writers, I will say, of various textbooks and guidebooks meant for teachers and school students. Though they claim that they are producers, but they are actually, I'll say, they are primary consumers. Fine. And pure consumers. Okay, those who read all kind of books, all literatures, okay, created by these above three groups. Now within these three or four groups, where do we stand? As far as India is concerned, I'll say that in the knowledge economy, mostly we are at the last level, consumers. Mostly we are consumers. Okay, don't take it so seriously. It doesn't mean that only we are consumers, we are not at all producing knowledge, not like that. But mostly we are consumer society as far as knowledge is concerned. Okay, just I'll give you an example. Go to any library, good library, and try to find out best book. Okay, I'm just talking about, say, research methodology book. Go to any library, the best books are written and imported from foreign countries. Where do Indians stand? So In case you want to become a producer in knowledge economy, you want to go to the first level, okay, research will come and it will help us in that directions. We can make our country self-reliant in many areas through research. Okay, what Prime Minister of India says, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay, self-reliant India, and that is possible when we do and engage ourselves in research. Okay, so this is how I relate research and economy. In this perspective, now the question arises, why research by the school teachers then? Because my topic is about actual research and we're talking about teachers in school doing research. Now, when a number of research is being carried out by educational researchers at university level and college level, why shall you ask school teachers to do similar kind of research? Okay, this is a very genuine question. And in that connection, David Foreman and David Chapman, they wrote one article. It is Research on Teaching, Why the Lack of Practical Result. And there they wrote that research at university level has failed in providing practical solution to teaching and learning problem faced in the schools. Okay. Why does it happen so? Why the research carried out at university level, college level, they are not so useful as far as improvement of teaching and learning in school. Okay. The first thing is that who are doing research at college level? Educational research is carried out by research scholars, university teachers, college teachers, not by school teachers. And the aim of getting research, doing research, as far as I'm talking about our country, just to get a degree and to write a paper. So aim is very, very limited. Just get a degree, do some research, forget your research. That's it. And we say that it is a knowledge creation process, that's fine. So particularly in India, it is more of confirmation of some created knowledge rather than creating new knowledge. That is happening. We're just following up just like apes to the foreign countries, and whatever they are doing research, we're just replicating in India. So let's say original work is being carried out. Not only that, what kind of research is being created? Sir, what kind of knowledge is being created? Okay, they're not oriented towards problem solving. Research is done just for the sake of research, and they are not linked to what is happening at the ground reality. So within this perspective, let us try to understand what kind of research is being done in education. Okay, let us see, already my previous speaker spoke about the first one, correlates of academic achievement. A lot of research has been done in this area. Okay, I will not elaborate on the topic because he has covered all the things, what different factors that affect teaching and learning in school level. Later on, some attention was given to, instead of some factors here and there, they tried to understand what processes are involved in school teaching and learning. And they try to discern and isolate few processes and try to understand how these processes impact learning. But what happens when you are taking out one or two processes and studying its impact on learning? This kind of research suffered from some kind of, say, external validity. Okay, they are not generalizable to many situations. Okay, they are just internal validity is good as far as okay external validity is concerned. There is a question mark because of what the systems are very, very complex. A lot of factors are there, and isolating one or two factors will not contribute much to teaching and learning issues in school. Another problem was defining learning. Okay, the concept of learning. It was operationally defined as some score in some written test. Is it so? Is learning is so limited to getting some score in some written test? But learning of students' performance is more than that. It covers students' classroom behavior, their attitude, their sensibilities, their emotions, their feelings. And research on change in these areas are rarely conducted at university level. Then, so the school teaching and learning is not affected by what is that carried out at university and college level. Even the teachers also, they are not aware of what is happening at that level. Because as far as knowledge dissemination is concerned, we have a very poor systems. You go to any schools, try to find out what journals and magazines are there. I don't think you'll get anything. Okay, so Classroom situation is very complex. Already my previous speaker spoke a lot of complex situation. Teachers are in better position to understand this classroom dynamics. Okay, not the outsiders, not the university professors and college teachers. The school teachers themselves, they know what is happening in their situation. Therefore, they are in a better position to carry out research and improve their own system. It is in this background that it is expected that the teachers themselves, okay, they should come forward, take up the burden of solving their own problem in their own way using action research. Okay. Now, we discussed why research in general, how it is related to economy. The second topic, we discussed why action research by the teachers, because we saw that the outside agencies, they are least interested or their research work is not so meaningful to them. So therefore, they should come forward. It is in that background we expect that they should do research. But the thing is that they are not doing research. They are not doing research. Okay, there could be many reasons. And it's not possible for me to say elaborate all the reasons one by one because it will be a lengthy topic. But few things I will tell from my observation. Okay, there is some kind of general apathy toward research in our country. Okay, people are least interested in doing research. It's a very, very general thing. The subject research is very, very scary. Okay, students are scared of this area itself. Most of the students, they feel that it is too technical, too difficult, and meant for some extraordinary students. On my observation, I will say that only 10% students say they take it very, very sincerely. The rest, okay, I don't like to discuss. And as far as school system is concerned, there are no any such incentives for teachers to carry out research and go for writing and publications. At the same time, incentives should be given or not, that is another issue, but such incentives are there for college teacher, as you all know, that in India, we are getting APA points, we are getting placement, we are getting promotions based on our research and publications. Such things are, it's not there. Looking at these situations, I don't see any possibility of teachers taking up research, extra research in India in near future, unless something concrete is done to rectify the situation. But here I'm not going to present what different things to be done so that they will come forward and take up research. It is for everyone to think how to change this situation. With this appeal, I end my presentation. Thank you, organizers, for giving me this opportunity to share my ideas with a larger audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ganesh sir. So now time for asking questions.
Yeah.
Any question, please? Hello? Any questions? Anyone else?
So we can pick up questions later on. So let them collect.
We can discuss, sir. So thank you for insightful talk on action research. And Ganesh Naik also spoke about the relevance of research, and even the research should be for the elevation of humanity. So just like in foreign countries, the research is mainly for the elevation of nation, the nation building. So similarly, even the NP, the new education policy also, that is also focusing on such aspects. So thank you, sir, for your profound and deep words about action research. Thank you. So we have the next speaker, Sanjay Govekar, Associate Professor, GVM College of Education, Goa University. And he's an expert in professional education and skill education. He had done a lot of projects for augmenting the skill of youth in Goa and Maharashtra. And he's very famous writer both in Konkani and Marathi. So I invite sir for your presentation. Thank you, sir. Sir, please. Sir, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And good afternoon. First of all, let me thank the entire organizing team for having given me this opportunity to discuss something regarding life skills in education. And today's topic, as I said, life skills in education. And let me quote Professor Richard Rose from UK. Yesterday, he made a mention that nowadays we are giving more and more emphasis on our paper pen or maybe paper pen or paper pencil test or examination or evaluation. And whether they are pass or fail, it is decided on that entire cognitive domain. Hardly affective domain and psychomotor domain are not that much taken into consideration or maybe overlooked. Here, I would like to also say that we have to ask ourselves whether we believe in ask. When I say ask, A-S-K. It is A-S-K. Ask, A-S-K is A stands for attitude, S stands for skill. And when I say skill, it is life skills as well as the vocational skills and professional skills. And K for knowledge. Just now Dr. Matthew said, without knowledge, it is not possible. So knowledge is very, very important. Skills are very, very important, and very important are attitudes. So let me start with the topic, that is life skills. Life skills are behavior that enable individuals to adapt and deal effectively with the demands and challenges of life. There are many such skills. There are so many skills. But 10 core life skills are laid down by WHO. Now, whatever the 10 life skills which are laid down by World Health Organization, I would like to place it here. Now, first is self-awareness, empathy, critical thinking, creative thinking, decision-making, problem-solving, effective communication, interpersonal relationship, coping with stress, and coping with emotions. Now, these are the 10 life skills. Now, why do the 10 life skills are important for us as a student, as a parent, as a teacher? As a teacher also, I should know these all 10 skills. As a student also, I should know this because this will make my future. If I acquire all these 10 life skills, there are so many, but for time being, I'm taking this 10. So if I acquire these 10 life skills, it is for sure that you will get a success in your life. Yeah. So one by one, let us make a point. But before that, let me go to the target group, and the target group is adolescent. So adolescence is a period of transition from childhood to adulthood. WHO defines adolescent as individuals in the 10 to 19 years of age. This is a group. And it's important stage. It is a very, very important stage in one's growth and development. This is where the most amount of growth, most amount of development takes place, whether it may be physical, whether it may be mental, whether it may be emotional, every. Adolescents experience a spurt in their growth. The sudden functioning of sexual glands and increase in physical energy makes them restless. The emotions are not consistent, but fluctuating. This makes them very, very moody. Sadness and happiness alternates frequently. As a result, the emotions balancing is often disturbed. Now, they may remain tense and anxious most of the time. They are likely to be haunted by the sense of fear, anxiety, and depression. Now, there are so many risks. There are so many stress. There are so many tensions. But even then, this stage is very, very important. Despite all this, adolescence is a period in which important decisions are made. It is a time to know who you are and what you want to be in life. It is a period when you decide which stream and what courses of study you should pursue, where you want to go, what are your strengths, who are you. You need to introspect yourself. You need to identify the skills you have, the potentials you have. Yeah. So now these skills, these 10 skills, now these core skills are categorized under 3 heads, namely life skills for self-understanding and self-management. Second, life skills that help to live with others. And the third, the life skills that help you handle various issues and problems that you may face in your day-to-day life. We may face so many problems, but how to come with a proper solution is a target. Now, let's go to the first type, life skills for self-understanding and self-management. Yeah, it is regarding yourself. Self-awareness is the first one. Self-awareness includes recognition of self. You need to recognize yourself, your characters, your strengths, your weaknesses, your desires, your dislikes, what you are. You are identifying, you are recognizing your own skills here, your own wealth here, your own strengths here. Developing self-awareness can help us to recognize when we are stressed or feel under pressure. At times, every day it is not a goody-goody. At times we may face tension, we may face pressure, and it persists, then it may go to the depression level. But you should know what you are. It's often a prerequisite to effective communication and interpersonal relationship. How your communication will be with others, how your communication with yourself. It is first. Your communication with yourself is first. And then you can go to others. If you have your balanced emotions, your thoughts are proper, your thoughts are well directed, then only you can deal properly with the people. If you have that talent and that talent is expressed positively, then you are on the right path. Yeah. So it's very necessary to have an insight into self, one's capacities, capabilities, yes, and both inferiority and superiority feelings about self are very harmful. There are people and our students also, our children also. Yeah, some of them they are faced with the inferiority complex. Some of them they are very superior. Yeah, they're very superior. They have a superiority complex. Yeah. And then they say, you're nothing. I am right and you're wrong. I am right and you're wrong. If you say always, I'm right and you're wrong, that means you have that superiority feeling. And there are people, there are students who are inferior. When I teach for BEds, and when they are asked to write introspection about themselves, about the lesson, if they must have given a very fantastic lesson, maybe 80 to 90%. But when they introspect yourself and write their marks, they're asked to write the marks, but they write 50, 60, yeah. Whereas they know that they have given a best lesson, maybe 18, 90%. But sometimes they are so inferior, and sometimes there are students who are so superior. Now, the next is coping with stress. This is very, very important. Coping with stress. Now, a wrong beliefs like I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I know nothing. Yeah, I'm a duffer. Yeah, something is wrong with me. Causes up to 90% of the illness and diseases. When you underestimate you, that means you have given that certificate to yourself. As scientific research has established that stress is the core factor in physical, mental, and emotional diseases. You may get physical diseases, you may get mental diseases, you may be emotionally imbalanced, disturbed. This is because you're not able to cope up with the stress. Coping with stress means recognizing the stress of sources of stress. You should know from where you're getting the stress. Recognizing how this affects us and acting in ways in which in that help us to control the level of stress by changing our environment or lifestyles and learning how to relax. The relaxation techniques are very, very important. Intense emotions like anger and sadness can have negative effects on our health if we do not respond appropriately. And appropriate and healthy methods of managing one's stresses go a long way in the prevention of physical and mental disorder. And that's why controlling your emotions are very, very important. Controlling your moods are very, very important. Yeah? We will see how to do that. There are several ways to cope up with stress. There are several ways. I've taken some few. Challenge our way of thinking. Focus only on the strengths and victories. At times you must have got victories. At times you must be the winners. Yeah? Remember about those moments. Remember about those moments wherein you were the success, you were the victory. You got the victory. You were successful in that particular event. So remember about those and you will get that positive energy. Now this positive energy is very, very important. You introspect yourself, who you are, what qualities God has given you. And then you can go ahead with the positive information and positive attitude. By getting organized, we have to be organized in our life. Yeah? You have certain goals to be accomplished. God has given us this life. Yeah? There are so many animals and maybe insects. Yeah? They have not got this life of human being. We have got this life of human being. So we have certain target. We have certain objectives and we need to accomplish that. So by getting organized, avoiding procrastination. We have to avoid procrastination. I will do it tomorrow. I will do it maybe after 1 month or maybe after a week. That week will never come. That month will never come. Tomorrow will never come. And that's why we have to do it right now. In Hindi, they say, Kal kare so aaj kare so ab. So do it now. Yeah, that is now and not tomorrow. If you say tomorrow, if you believe in procrastination, don't believe in procrastination. Do that now. Developing a sense of humor. That sense of humor is needed in our life. That sense of humor is needed, and then only will come the happiness in our life, the joy in our life. Yeah. At times I've seen many people. They are very serious. They are very strict and very serious. Yeah. If they won a lottery of maybe 1 lakh of a base, they will say like, they will stand like this. Yeah. Ari, you have won the lottery. You have won something that you are not having 1 lakh of rupee. Yeah. Supposing, yeah, the child has passed with flying colors, maybe distinction and high distinction. Then again he's not smiling. He's very serious. Now there has to be some sense of humor in your life that brings automatically the positivity. Striking a balance between duty and study and leisure, duty and leisure. Your duty and your happiness should be linked. As a child, as a student, your study and your leisure should be linked. If it is not linked, if you're not studying, if you're not learning with your interest and happiness, it becomes difficult. Next is coping with emotions. Coping with emotions, our feelings are a wonderful barometer of our life. When we are not caught up in negative thinking, our feelings remain positive and we feel joyful, loving, and peaceful. And that's why we need to be very happy today, every day. When you get up every day, say good morning to yourself. Go in front of the mirror and then say good morning. Say good morning, Sanjay. That will give you that positive energy. Every day you say good morning. When you give respect to yourself, when you give reverence to yourself, then it will be possible for you to give respect and reverence to others. And that's why you have to cope up with your emotions. When you're feeling fearful, angry, and depressed, it is a sure sign that your thoughts have become negative and dysfunctional. Developing this awareness and making the decision to eliminate negative thinking can be dramatically life-changing. If you're always into negative thinking, negatively influenced, then it will be very difficult for you to lead your life. Appropriate and healthy methods of managing one's negative emotions go a long way in prevention of the physical and the mental disorder. We have seen nowadays also there are so many cases, very famous personalities from Hollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood. They are facing these problems. How to control the emotions, how to face the life. And if you have a positive attitude with you, nothing is impossible. Impossible, in the word impossible also is saying, I'm possible. I can control my feelings. The next category is life skill for knowing and living with others. You should know yourself, you should live with others in a harmonious way. Now, how to do that? Let's see. First of all is effective communication. Effective communication means that we are able to express ourselves both verbally or non-verbally. This means being able to express opinions and desires and also needs and fears. We need to share. With maybe very trustworthy persons, or you need to share something, and that's how your emotions will be balanced. Your stress will go away. Any message that involves the face-to-face mode, such as conversation, consists of number of components, such as your tone, your words, your body language. Your tone tells us many stories. The way you speak. If you are very angry, we will at once come to know that you are angry through your tone, the sound, the voice, your body language. Yeah, you won't say, I like you. You will say, now you want to fight with me. Yeah, who are you? Automatically, the tone, the level will go up. You are able to cultivate the habits of thinking before you speak. Before you speak, think about that. Believe the message you convey. Whatever the message you want to convey, that has to go in first here, and then it should be from mouth. Keep your talk to the audience perception level. See whether whatever you share, they are the right target group. The audience are proper. Avoid annoying mannerisms and gestures. Many a time we use so many types of unhappy mannerisms and gestures. So avoid that. Repeat major points sometimes. Whatever is the major point, you have to repeat, and then only it is possible. Use generalities frankly and avoid expressions that hurt your communication would rise above the mediocrity. If you avoid those comments which will hurt others, try to avoid that, and then only it will be a pleasure hearing to you, listening to you. Next is interpersonal relationship. Interpersonal relationship skills help us to relate in positive ways with the people we interact with. You have to have those qualities to understand others, and then only it is possible. These skills are techniques that helps us to relate to others. They tell you what you should and what you shouldn't do in dealing with your friends, your family members, and other members of the society. This may mean being able to make and keep friendly relationship, which can be of great importance to our mental and social well-being. It may mean keeping good relationship with our family members, which are very, very important source of social support. Yeah, so we have to make those required changes in ourselves, so that to make a very good relationship with others, our friends, our relatives, our family members, our teachers. Yeah, so one should develop the skill of establishing and maintaining an appropriate friendly relationship with most of the persons. One should also learn skills to manage hostile and troublesome person by keeping the required distance. Not everything is good. There is a positive energy also, there is a negative energy also. There are the positive people also, there are negative people also in the society. So you should be able to say no to these people. If someone offers you maybe cigarette or maybe some kind of drugs, you should be able to say no. Sometimes no is very, very important. If you're yes man for everything, you will be somewhere else. Yes. Empathy is the next one. To have successful relationship with our loved ones and society at large, we need to understand and care about other people's needs, desires, and feelings. It's empathy. It's not a sympathy, but it's an empathy. Empathy is the ability to imagine what life is like for another person. Without empathy, our communication with others will amount a one-way traffic. And that has to be a two-way traffic everywhere, every now and then. Yeah? We are not in isolation. We are the social animal, and human being is a social animal. We need others to live. Empathy can help us to accept others who may be very different from ourselves. This can improve social interaction, especially in situations of ethnical or cultural diversities. One should understand others' views, experiences, and expressions with sympathy. One should put himself in others' shoes and react. Had I been in that place, what would I have done? This is a very, very important role. And that's why empathy plays a very, very important role. And the third one, and the last one, is life skills for dealing with issues and problems. There are so many issues, there are so many problems in our life. As I said, everything is not a good day. So first one is critical thinking. And as you see there's a question mark. On my slide, there is a question mark. Critical thinking is an ability to analyze information and experiences in an objective manner. That says, it is an analysis of the information and experiences in an objective manner. Critical thinking can contribute to health by helping us to recognize and assess the factors that influence attitude and behavior, such as values, peer pressure, and media. One has to learn to evaluate and critically look at the issues, requirements, and recommendations made by others. One should not blindly accept or get carried away by strange statements made by others and pressures. You should think on that. You should think on that statement. You should think on the task, and then only you should ask yourself why. You should ask yourself how. When you ask this question to yourself, automatically it will analyze and give you the answers. Critical thinking will help you in your studies, in making decisions, solving problems, passing judgments, and ensuring maximum utilization of your resources. There are so many resources you have, but it is possible only and only if you critically analyze this. It will also help you to be more inquisitive and insightful and be human. You have to be more insightful. When you introspect yourself, you'll learn so many qualities you have, so many potentials, the capabilities that God has given you, and we also nurture that. The next one is creative thinking. Every child is a creative. Every person is creative. Now it depends on maybe the environment, to what extent you have utilized it. Creative thinking refers to the ability to produce something novel, useful, and unique. It involves the ability to think about something in novel and unusual ways and come up with unique solution to the problem. There were so many problems, but to come up with the unique solution to a problem is a creative thinking. Thinking out of the box. It is a novel way of seeing or doing things that is characterized by fluency, flexibility, originality, and elaboration. We should be innovative and creative, explore new ideas every now and then. Yeah, the same use method if we are going to use, no. We have to think in some other terms, thinking out of the box. Next is decision making. Decision making helps us to deal constructively with decisions about our life. Every time, every moment, we have to take decisions, and that's why we have to enable our children to take decisions. Every now and then, if teachers are taking decision, every now and then, if parents are taking decision, no, that's not a way to prepare our children. That's not a way to prepare our students. Allow them to take decisions, and then you see what are the decisions. Then you can guide. This can have consequences for health. It can teach people how to actively make decisions about their actions. In relation to the healthy assessment of different options and what effects these different decisions are likely to have on their physical body, on their mental body, on their emotions, all aspects. Everywhere decision making is very important. Not only for the cognitive domain, for affective domain also it is important. For psychomotor domain also it is important. Before taking any decision, one has to list the pros and cons. These are the advantages, these are the disadvantages. What are the laws and what are the gains? And the risks involved. These are the risks involved. One need not hesitate to consult the appropriate people for that. People who are guides, people who knows much more than you. So no hesitation in going to them for the guidance. And the last one is problem solving. Problem solving helps us to deal constructively with problems in our lives. Significant problems that are left unresolved can cause mental stress and give rise to a physical strain. And that's why the problem solving is very, very important. In a school level, in a higher secondary, in a college level, these are the various opportunities are given to them, children, to solve the problem, different types of problems. In our lives also, there are so many problems. We should be able to solve these problems. The individual should know the steps in problem solving. Understand the nature of the problem. What is the nature of the problem? What are the factors which aggravate the problem? You should be identifying that factor, or maybe those factors which aggravates the problem. Different solutions. There are so many solutions. Suppose you have listed 10 solutions to that problem, but how to choose the best? You need to choose the best and solve your problem. And there are so many benefits for individuals. There are so many benefits for the society. If I would say we are 125 crores people in India, we have 125 crores people. If everyone understands the rights and responsibility, if everyone tries to find what am I? I have got so many potentials. I have got so many strengths God has given me. Now, if I identify, if I recognize these strengths of mine, I can contribute. The productivity will start only and only when I'll ask this question to myself: who am I? Why am I here on this earth? Why am I here in India? I'm born in India. Why? I need to serve the country. And as our Honorable Prime Minister said, we have to, our objective is to achieve Atmanirbhar Bharat. And not even 5 trillion economy. Our objective is to achieve Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant country, self-reliant in India. It will be not more than 5 years if every one of us, a child, a teacher, a parent, decides this, that I have to understand who I am. I'm going to identify, I'm going to recognize myself, what are my capacities, what are my abilities, and then only it is possible. Within 5 years, we can achieve the goal. Within 5 years, we can achieve the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat and with 5 trillion economy. I think it's my honor, and I'm very much thankful to the organizing team, entire team for that matter. A chance and opportunity was given to me to share a few things before this big platform. So I'm very much thankful to each and every one. And at the same time, let me not forget all those participants from all 17 countries who have participated here for this great World Conference. Thank you very much. Again, thank you, the organizing team. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sanjay, Professor Sanjay sir, for your innovative lecture on skill education. So now we have time for discussion. So you can share your viewpoints. The participants can share your viewpoints, ask doubts. Okay, anyone please, you can join. Hello? Sir, we have one question. Sir.
Yes.
Yeah, sir, one question is there. That is, the question is, what skills among the soft or life skill you consider as must be a requirement for an individual for growing in an organization? Priyanka, you can ask.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. What skills among the life skill you consider as must be requirement for an individual for growing in an organization? Which skill is more important?
Okay. Yes, I think so. The first skill, that is self-awareness, is very, very important. When you are aware about yourself, I think I have given much stress, much emphasis on self-awareness. When you are aware about yourself, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your liabilities, and what are your assets, I think you can do much more. All these 9 skills can be achieved later on. If you know yourself, I would like to give some examples. In some of the schools, when we go, and as Dr. Matthew also said in his talk, then when we go, there are so many types of students. And those students who are not paying attention to the teacher, those students who have come there just for the enjoyment, they will not answer your question. They will not pay attention to it. They will go on moving here and there. They would disturb others. Now, when actually, I must have taken around 30-40 lectures on life skills to different types of students, for primary students, for secondary students, for higher secondary students also. And what I've learned there, sir, when you come to this type of students and when you guide them in personal, face to face and in person, they understand who they are. They understand their capacities. I have so many examples like this. And they have shared, they're still in touch. They send me so many messages. Sir, I know who I am because of you. You showed me this. You proved me this. And generally, I have maybe 15 minutes, half an hour with them, just speaking about their capacities and abilities. And when they come to know about their abilities, it's a first step, sir. I have the fortune to discuss something with the teachers also. I give some of my workshops to the teachers also, and there are so many teachers, aged teachers, about to retire, maybe 10 years or maybe 5 years more. They came personally to me. They said, "Sir, this session was very, very important. I realize who I am now, what God has given me, and I have not used this potential of mine for so many years." When you are aware about yourself, self-awareness about your qualities, then you can do wonders, sir. First of all, you need to know who you are. Thank you, sir.
Sir, one more question from Kaushik Das.
Yes, sir.
How a person can cope up his or her jobless life? A psychological or family pressure always with them.
Yes.
How a person can cope up his or her jobless life?
Okay, sir. So I would like to share with Dr. Das. There are so many methods. First of all, meditation is one of the basic methods. Meditation is the method wherein you can control your mind. As I said, everything will not be goody and goody around you. There'll be ups and downs everywhere. There'll be happiness, there'll be sorrow. But if you have some problem in your family, if you have problem around you, that doesn't mean that we have something called as an aura, sir. We have something called as an aura, and your control shouldn't be given to some other people. If around you there is sorrow and unhappiness, there is everywhere depression and frustration, this doesn't mean that you have given your control to themselves. Your remote should be with you. They shouldn't command you. They shouldn't demand your activities. So I think this is the best method of meditation. Early in the morning, if you do some yoga, I would say, Dr. Das, if you can listen to me. There's something called as alpha stage, and this alpha stage, usually this alpha stage comes twice a day, twice in 24 hours. And early, when you go to bed, you must have faced so many difficulties, and you must have helped other people also. There is a happiness and there is a sorrow also. Now you need to give away this sorrow. You need to forget everything. That happiness you need to cherish. During these 2 minutes of a stage wherein you go to bed, and there's a drowsy stage. Drowsy is wherein you are getting to sleep, but you cannot sleep. Yeah. So that stage, that particular stage is called the alpha stage. And that particular alpha stage, if you tell your subconscious mind is a very powerful mind. At that particular stage, if you say that I forgot everything, I have forgiven everything. Whoever troubled me today, whoever have given me pain today, I've forgiven these people. And one thing is that I cherish all the good memories. There were so many good memories. All in an average, we are having, sir, around 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Around 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Not every thought is positive. There are so many. There are stray thoughts. These are the stray thoughts. There is no meaning for this. But there are some thoughts which are negative. But there are few thoughts which are positive. We need to construct on these thoughts. We need to construct on these thoughts because they are positive. And during that the time of 2 minutes, we need to cherish these thoughts. There are so many people who have helped me. There are so many people who have wished me good, isn't it? So we need to cherish this. And whoever has given me sorrow and pain, let us forgive those people. So I think I have answered your question, Dr. Das.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question to Ganesh, sir. Professor Ganesh, sir.
Okay, sir. There is, sir. You can come here.
Yeah. Sir, one more.
Yes,
Why
please,
government?
please tell me, sir.
Yeah. Why government could not take any initiatives for action research in school level? From Kaushik Das.
Why government is not taking action?
Yeah. Taking action research in school level.
Sir, please repeat the question once again.
Why government is not taking action research in school level?
That is true, sir. They are supposed to take. This is a concern for everyone. This is a concern for everyone. This is a concern. See, where they are not taking their business. But the thing is that we are worried about it. Government should take. That is my view. Okay? Government should understand that it is very important, and they must train teachers how to do action research. And they must also make action research compulsory at B.Ed level, D.Ed level, so that everyone is oriented. Or some in-service education has to be provided to carry out action research. They must collaborate with B.Ed colleges, D.Ed colleges, so that some collaborative action research is taken. Something has to be done. So this is my appeal at the end, that let us do something for the school at government level, at our level, at societal level. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Sir, one more question to JOJEN, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, one question from Karnataka, Smita Abraham. So
Okay.
she's asking, why teachers are neglecting slow learners? Why teachers
Why
are
teachers are neglecting?
slow learners?
Yeah, one of the reasons is that the indifferent attitude of teachers. Now, there are some teachers who are teaching, especially in rural areas, I know, they have an indifferent attitude towards students coming from low socioeconomic status. So, one is their indifferent attitude, and there may be many other reasons, because sometimes, we teachers, we mostly teach the average students. We don't bother about the gifted, we don't bother about the below average. So I think we need to have some space for them also. And it is possible if the school authorities and also the government, some guidelines given to the schools, so that this problem can be solved to some extent.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So one more question to Sunil, sir. Last question. Sunil, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So how can we mitigate the digital divide in pandemic situation?
Hello, sir. Please repeat.
Yeah, how can we mitigate digital divide in pandemic situation? Reduce.
Okay. Digital divide. As I told you that there are certain states where governments are taking a lot of initiatives actually to bridge up the gap between poor and rich people, privileged and underprivileged, then rural areas people and urban areas people. Government is very serious about it, and unfortunately or unfortunately, that chance has come to all the countries, all the states actually, to think, to reinvent and to re-explore their infrastructure. As we are lucky, fortunate, where we are teaching here, GVM's Dr. Dada Vaidya College of Education, we are well facilitated, we are having well facilitated infrastructure. And that's why we are conducting this 2 days international conferences. I'm not telling that the same thing will happen in 1 day or 2 days or in a week or 6 months or in a year. It will take time, sir. But I am very sure that all state governments are very serious about it to rebuild their infrastructure facilities. Then only this divide and divisions actually will be bridged up, and that gap will be bridged up, and gap will be finally furnished, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Now, thank you, sir, for your reply. So now we are 1 minute for ending the session. So today we completed the one general session in the morning. Then we have one more panel discussion also, that is also successfully carried out. We also finished 10 parallel sessions, technical parallel sessions. So I thank you all the resource persons, Professor Dr. JOJEN Matthew, Ganesh NAIK, Professor Sunil Kumar sir, Professor Sanjay Govekar for their insightful presentation. And thank you, sir, once again. Thank you. Thank you for all the technical assistants. Deeptat Varnekar, Prachakta Ma'am, Nikit, and all Saish, Dalal Naik, Sienna Fernandez hosting the session. Thank you all of, and we will see in 2 p.m. for another session. Thank you once again.